I think that we're live. Let me just check. We are live. Oh, how great. Hi, guys. We'll just wait a couple of minutes for people to join. This is a second part of this live drawing. And let me just move this a bit so you could see it more clearly. Okay. I think it's all right like that. I think that everything works fine. I think that we can continue with this drawing. Let me just see again to move this a bit so you could see it properly. And we can start. Okay. We can start with this. Okay, so we're gonna work on this part here, and then we're gonna work on the down part. And we can start from this part. I'm gonna use the dark brown for this part because this part is pretty dark, and we want to do something darker. You have on the in the description you have the reference photo and the scan sketch, so if you ever decide that you want to draw this with me, you can just download that and you can start drawing and start following this. Okay. Hi, 2KS Plays. Thank you. I'm very happy that you like it. I hope that you can see everything clearly and that the video is alright. I hope. Just gonna use a bit of this color on both sides. And this part is lighter than this one, so we're gonna make sure that that is all covered. And we're gonna use the burnt ochre a bit for this part. Oh my god, it's so good. Thank you so much. If you want to draw this, you have the first part on my YouTube channel, and you have the reference photo and the scan sketch in the description box here. Hi to Miguel. I am good. I'm very well. Thank you so much for asking. How are you? I'm gonna use the chestnut as well. I'm so happy that you could make it. Absolute beauty. Thank you so much. I'm very happy that you like it. I just thought that I would do some drawing for the Halloween, since the Halloween is near, and I thought like, okay, I will do this like live, so the other people, if they decide to do some drawing or some sketch for the Halloween, they can follow this tutorial and they can draw something like this as well. So that was the whole point of this. I love your hair. It's so cute. Thank you. Thank you so much. I've been red, I think 10 years, something like that. I've been red like for 10 years. My God, that's a lot. I cannot imagine myself with any kind of different hair than this. Like this definitely my hair. I'm gonna use a bit of peach here. So I can blend some things out. Guys, if you have any questions or anything else, feel free to let me know and I will read everything. And I'll answer to all of your questions, of course. Does anybody ever say your art is printed? Um, yeah, that was a couple of I got a couple of comments like that. I was drawing a cat. I think I have on my YouTube video. I was drawing a cat, like cat's eyes, and like there were a couple of my friends who didn't believe, like even my dad, like they didn't believe that it's like a real drawing. So yeah, there were a couple of comments like that. But I mean, it's fine because I think your art is so real. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I'm using the nectar for this part here. And just try to blend everything out. And this is so cool from Grace Music. Thank you so much. Gotta go. I'm gonna be back, of course. Thank you, Grace Music. I really appreciate that. I'm using the sienna brown for this part because I think that sienna brown is good for this part here. Just to make it a bit darker from both sides. I still didn't decide about the hair color though. I have no idea. It really doesn't look like you're drawing it. Oh my god, thank you so much. I really appreciate it, guys. You're very kind. Like all of your kind comments are really they're really encouraging. And I'm using the pumpkin orange to make this a bit orangey. It got so cold in my country, like I'm basically sitting with the blanket around me, like it's so cold. How long did it take you for art to start looking realistic? Um, it took me, well, I'm not sure how long. Like I was finishing the art school, but I finished the art school for fashion design and fashion illustration. So I I'm not sure. I mean, I don't see my art as like fully realistic. I see it somewhere in between like the illustration and like the realism, something in between. But maybe 3 years, something like that. I'm using the beige sienna. Maybe 3 years. I decided that I really want to do some colored pencil drawings, and like this is something that really I never did colored pencil drawings before. Not even when I was going to art school. I wasn't using these colors. I was mostly using the watercolor and the acrylics and something like that, but I never used these colored pencils. I said that I think in my previous live that these colored pencils are not popular here in my country. So I basically I didn't even pay attention like to that. And this is my sister. Hello to my sister. I'm sending hearts back to my sister. So yeah, in my country, like the colored pencils, they weren't popular at all. So My style really progressed like the past couple of years. I'm gonna use the black a bit for this part because it gets really dark here. Do you think it's easier to bring black and white drawings to life or using a range of colors? Well, that definitely depends. If you are skilled, like if you're skilled enough, it doesn't matter if you're using for example, graphite pencils or charcoal, for example, or anything else. Like you can do those monochrome drawings and they will look amazing, and still the colored pencils will look amazing as well. It really depends on what, like how skilled you are. Like there are some people who are doing like amazing work with just graphite pencils and with charcoal, and there are still people who are doing like absolutely amazing stuff with colored pencils. It depends like in what direction you want to actually go. Like, but for me, whatever you decide, either this like colored pencils or the graphite pencils or charcoal or whatever you decide, just make sure to practice enough, and I'm sure that your drawings will look amazing. Like it's, for me, I like both. Like I like working with graphite pencils and I like working with colored pencils, and of course the charcoal. I love charcoal. Like I'm obsessed with charcoal. Um Hello to Nicholas. Thank you so much for sharing my life. And Ivana, hi. Hello. This is my aunt. And I did what you up to the eye and the forehead. Aha. All right. All right, you're following. Wow. Okay. Um so I hope that you will manage to follow up with the rest. I didn't do much. I just started using like the colors to fill up these parts. So I think that you will easily continue to follow up with these. We basically use the same technique for both sides like we did like for the forehead. And I've heard that artists have to take some time to find their own art style. Have you found your style? I'm not an artist or anything. I'm just curious. I think I did. I mean, I really like what I'm doing now, and I really like my style at the moment, but I really want to progress so much more. I think that this style will definitely help me find and be better and everything. And I know that for like a lot of people, like when I say that I still want to build up, like a lot of people are telling me like, why do you want to build up like more? Your style is good enough. I want to progress. Like that's the whole point of of being an artist, is like you always need to explore and experiment and build your knowledge, um, because I truly believe that once you start being fully satisfied with like how your style is turning out. I'm using the dark umber for these like darker parts. Once you start being satisfied and like fully satisfied with your skills and with your knowledge, I think that that's the time when you definitely stop growing as an artist. So at the moment, yes, I have my own art style and I'm satisfied with it, but I am not satisfied up until that point where I'm happy with what I do, and I will just stop like building my knowledge. I don't want to stop building my knowledge, like never. I'm using the clay rose for this part. So definitely I am satisfied with how my drawings are turning out. I mean, I always have something to comment once I finish a drawing. Like, I could have done this better, I could have done that better. But I mean, it's all the process of building your skills and building your knowledge. Even though, as I said, like most of the times people are telling me like that I'm crazy and that the drawings are like amazing. I'm using the nectar to kind of blend these parts out. But yeah, definitely. Can you say what color do you use for the yellow side and the nose part? For the yellow side, I use the, let me see, let me just find them. I use the cadmium orange hue, I use the yellowed orange, and I use the pumpkin orange, and I used a bit of brown. I think I used the dark brown for those like darker parts. For these parts here, I use the darker one. Um, when buying art supplies for beginners, would you prioritize quality over quantity? Definitely. I mean, there are like very good, for example, these Prismacolor Premier colored pencils that are coming in the 150 package, and there are like, for example, Caran d'Ache Luminance who are coming with seven, like the biggest is 76 I think, or 72, I forgot. But yeah, definitely I prefer quality over quantity, and sometimes like I really wanted to get this Prismacolor Premier like 150, like, and even though these are professional color pencils and I personally love them, I'm using the burnt ochre for these parts. um, I personally love them. At the same time, I am having issues sometimes in actually choosing the colors because there are so many. So having a lot of colors can actually trick you into like, okay, I'm having a lot of colored pencils and everything, but what should I do with them now? So it can be tricky if you have that many colored pencils and you're not like skilled enough. For me, I'm getting confused, like even now sometimes I'm getting confused, like, okay, which should I use, like which part should I use now, like which colored pencils, like I get confused from time to time. So even though you have 12 colored pencils, for example, if you know how to use them, and if there are like professional colored pencils, I'm sure that you will be able to get some amazing results with them. And I only have pumpkin yellow. Yes, of course, you can use the where is it? You can use the pumpkin yellow, and if you have any kind of orange along with that, just combine them with the brown, and you will be able to get like this very similar results like I did here. So feel free to use it. I'm just holding my pumpkin orange and I'm looking for it. But yeah, definitely pumpkin orange is good enough. And if you have any additional orange, just take it, and definitely not. I only have pumpkin. Not pumpkin orange. Pumpkin yellow. Which one is that color? I don't believe I have it. Do you maybe have mineral orange or the pumpkin yellow? I'm not sure. Pumpkin orange, sorry. I got confused. Do you work as an artist? If you do, what made you pick that path over anything else? If you're not an artist, what would you be? What would I be if I weren't? Oh, that is uh, that is a good question, actually. Um, well, I, I think I shared the story with in one of my videos. I was drawing like as long as I remember. I was drawing since I was 5, and I just loved it. I was 5, yeah, I was 5 or 6, something like that. And back in that time, um, as I remember, like my country was at war. We were bombarded by like 3 full months, and we had a video club. Like my mother and my father, we had a video club. So my mother, she was like very scared, and she wanted to take our minds off of the fact that something like bad is actually going on. So she wanted to kind of teach us, like my sister and me, to kind of teach us to draw. And she started taking those like videotapes, and she was teaching us because they were like the picture of like various different Disney cartoons and Disney characters. So we kind of started drawing, like my sister and me, we kind of started drawing with my mother. I'm using the henna for this one. And I fell in love with drawing back then. Like, even though we were at war, and that was a, like definitely such a stressful period. Like even though I was small, I still remember like the bombs falling and the sirens and everything. So that was a stressful period in all of our lives. But at the same time, like I loved drawing and I loved working um, with graphite pencils, with some colors, with anything basically, because I felt so powerful that I could have created something that like that was only like something that nobody could ever create like that again. And I felt very powerful. Like I remember that even though I was very small, I remember that. So that was really fun for me, and since then I started drawing, and since then I didn't stop. And then I decided to enroll into art school, and that was actually college. I enrolled into my college, and that's when I finished all of this. And I honestly wouldn't know what I would be. I don't know what I would be. I had my own dance company for 6 years. Maybe I would still be a dance teacher. Um, Maybe that if I didn't do this. But I had my own dance company. I was working like a dance teacher, and maybe I would still be a dance teacher probably if I didn't decide to go like fully on this path. But yes, I'm a full-time artist. Like I can say that, and I'm very proud that I can say that. And I am living from my art full time, and yeah, I would definitely be something like that, either an artist or a dance teacher. I mean, that's an artist as well. I mean, art dance is art, so yeah. Um, can you please make a video on cheap paper for colored pencils? Yeah, I can also do that. I mean, I think I have some papers, but as for the cheap papers, I think even if it's a cheap paper, I mean, your drawings can still look good. I remember drawing something, and that was like the the paper was like I think 10 cents or something like that. Like that was really like ridiculous price, and like the paper was um, kind of purplish, something like that. And I thought like, okay, I can just draw something, and then I did an amazing thing with it. So even if the paper is a bit cheap, yeah, I believe that you can still do some amazing things if you know how to work around with your pencils, like with your colored pencils and everything else. But yeah, um, I'm taking a break at work, so I'm just coming on for a few minutes. This is looking so great. I'll watch it later tonight. Thank you so much, Naomi. I'm very happy that you made a break and that you joined, even if it's like for just a bit. And guys, whoever didn't follow Naomi, please do. Like, she's an amazing artist and she's doing some wonderful lives and wonderful work. So um, if you want to check her out, just click on or type Naomi, and she is like just so amazing, like such an amazing artist. And I love following her work, and I love seeing her lives. Like, she is such an amazing artist. Um, Hi, I'm back. Still love your hair. Thank you. KS Plays, like, it's so, thank you so much. Like, I wouldn't, I don't know if I could ever imagine myself with different kind of hairstyle and different hair color. Like, I wouldn't be able to imagine myself with anything else, like, except this. Oh my god, Mima, who is behind you? No one is behind me. This is my brother-in-law. He likes to mess around. You are sweet, Mima. You are sweet as well, and thank you so much for your support. And I am always so happy to follow you and follow your work. think that all artists should like support each other so much more, and I'm so happy that I have a couple of artists that I can like really speak to, and they're so generous. Like Naomi is one of them. Like they're so generous and so nice and so polite and such kind-hearted. So it's really good to have like your own kind of like art people around you that are supportive, and that really means a lot. Having supportive people around you, like it really means a lot, and it really encourages you to like grow even more. So I'm really happy for it. Thank you for answering my questions. I've got a couple of things I need to get done, so I'm going to go. I can't wait to see how this turns out. Thank you so much, Grace Music, and thank you so much for joining. And thank you so much for your questions and kind comments. And I see you either later or in my next live. Thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate that. And have a good day. Okay, so we are kind of finishing this part here, and I'm just gonna use the Scarlet Lake for these parts here a bit, just to make her makeup a bit darker. I'm gonna use the cadmium orange hue just to make it a bit darker, and I'm also gonna use the peach on top of it, just so I can blend some parts where the makeup is, just so I can blend these ends of the makeup, just so they don't look like that hard. The transition should be a bit, even though on the reference photo like it's different. And okay, so to everyone who are joining like now, you have the reference photo and the scan sketch in my description. So if you ever decide that you want to follow this and work on something like this before or after Halloween, feel free to download it, and you can follow this anytime you wish, because I'm going to leave this on my on my profile here, my art channel. I never thought, honestly, that I will have an art channel. If you asked me like a couple of years ago, I would told you that I would never have my own art channel. And now I'm having all of you, and I have such like nice community here and such supportive community, so I'm really happy for it. But like, it's amazing how like the paths are strange, and I'm gonna use the terracotta for this part. I never thought that like one of the videos will explode and that I will get my YouTube channel going, and I started it because most of the people over Instagram were asking me like, how am I drawing certain things, and I just wanted to make a couple of tutorials so I can show them like how to draw certain things and everything. And then all of a sudden like it exploded and it like elevated, and I am like so grateful and so happy for it, honestly. I'm gonna use the burnt ochre a bit on this part here. And let me see, where's that color? I always forget the name of that color, but it's somewhere there, or not. Let's see what we can use. Use this one. We can use the nectar as well. I'll use the nectar for this part here. so I can like combine it. And we'll also use the pumpkin orange for this, just to make it a bit warmer, just a bit, so that these two parts can be like connected even more. I'm gonna use the Pear Sienna. Later we're gonna work on the eyelashes as well. And we'll use a bit of dark brown. Just to work on this part. And then kind of blend it out with Beige Sienna. And we'll use the terracotta for this part, just to make it a bit darker. And to have a bit of the lighter parts, I'm gonna use the Spanish orange for this lighter parts here. And this one, the terracotta again. Just a little bit of terracotta even here, to use a bit of peach. To blend this out. I need to use just a bit, like I'm gonna use the 50% of warm gray, just to do a bit of a like a line here. Also very small one here. and to work with the henna over the same line. And we can blend it out that with peach. Sharpen this so it would be better. I think that it looks good so far. Blend that out like that. And then we can work on the eyelashes. So make sure to have your colored pencils very sharp, like the black colored pencil. And she has the eyelashes. I'm gonna start with these eyelashes that are in the middle. I'm gonna work on those side ones, and I always like to make them longer than they actually are on the reference. Like, I love eyelashes and I like to draw them, so I always make them like longer than they actually are on the reference photo. So make sure to, like, if you want to do that, like, make sure to have the longer parts here on the ending parts of her eye, because on this part, like, no matter how long they are, like, they're like up front, so they cannot be long enough, like it cannot be shown like that. And here, like, they're like smaller one, they're smaller eyelashes, so they're basically going in the 3 directions, like on the left, in the middle, like this, and on the right. And the same goes here, like, even though like they're not seen, we're gonna make them longer, and they all, again, they're going in 3 parts, like in 3 directions, like the up front, like the middle, then as you go on the left, they're going on the left, as you're going towards the right, they're a bit longer, and you can make them like on the right. I like having longer eyelashes. If you're not one of those people, just don't do it, like skip this part and just do a couple of eyelashes. Just on the small parts here. You can also make them in loads of kinds of directions, like they don't have to be like all straight. You can experiment with them. The rest of the parts can be seen because we're gonna make like a very dark shade like here. But before we do that dark shade, we're gonna because I want to do the flyaway hairs, and if you want to do flyaway hairs, you need to have like, for example, this 20% of warm gray as the first color, because if we want to do the flyaway hairs, we need to have something underneath, so like once we take off we're gonna use the X-Acto knife for that, for the flyaway hairs. And what like X-Acto knife actually does is that he actually is pulling some of the colored pencils from the paper, which leaves the color underneath. So that is very important if you want to have those flyaway hairs. Like, always put some lighter shade. Like as the first color, and then go over with a very dark. So I'm just gonna press this black like very hard, because it's gonna be like, that's gonna be like very dark. We're gonna work on like more of the dark parts, because there's still a lot of dark parts that we didn't actually worked on, but we're gonna work on them like a bit later. Especially, like, I'm very excited for the hair. And guys, if you like have suggestion, like I still haven't decided, because I really want to get, like, for all of us, whoever is following this tutorial, like I want to get out of the comfort zone and like change the hair color a bit. Or maybe not, like maybe this is good. I have to get back to work, but I will watch the rest later. You are doing so great. Thank you, Naomi. I'm not sure if I saw this before. I think I am, or maybe I didn't. I don't remember seeing this comment. But anyways, thank you so much, Naomi, and I'm very happy that you will join a bit later. Thank you for joining in now. And so guys, if you have a suggestion, what color should her hair be, just like let me know, because I'm really like, I'm thinking about that like a lot. So I'm just trying to connect this black like with the rest of the dark parts, and we're also gonna use a bit of dark umber, so we can kind of connect these two parts here and make it like darker. So use the black. Complex Ali, hello, how are you doing on your second stream? I am very good, thank you for asking, and it's going very well. How are you? Thank you so much for joining in again. Very happy that you're here, that you managed. Even here we're gonna make it a bit darker. So we just connect like all of the things. We're gonna connect these parts as well, but for now we're gonna just like leave that dark. I'm not sure if I have the, let me just see. All right. I have the lights here, like it's not, like it should be dark, as you can see, like it's very dark. This part should be dark, but from the lights I think that we have a reflection, but that's all right. I'm gonna survive with the reflection for the next one, like when we draw the hair and everything. Like I think that I will set up the lighting a bit different, so you will be able to see like properly. Okay, so you'll be able like to see properly all the colors and everything else. Okay, so I'm gonna just sharpen the black again, because we're gonna start working on these parts here. And we're gonna work on this black part now, so we can kind of connect these two parts, like where the makeup is and where her skin tone is. So this part gets very dark. This part here as well. And this part too. I'm gonna make sure to blend this in between. That's very important. For this part, we're gonna add a bit of 50% of warm gray first on these parts here, and we're gonna work over those parts. Hello to Bernard. Hi Mima, looks great so far, much better than the reference. Thank you so much, Bernard. I'm very happy that you were able to join today, and thank you so much as always for such nice comments and such nice support. I'm very happy that you're here today. I'm very excited to work on this makeup. I'm very excited to do this. Colored Pencils magazine. Glad to catch you working on this again. We'll have to share the link. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you guys so much. That would be just amazing. I'm very happy that you are willing to share this link. And maybe for some of the people who want to make some Halloween sketches, this would be helpful, I think. I'm gonna make that look a bit lighter. Like my colored pencils, they're always Muammar Al Gaddafi. Wow, this is awesome, and you're awesome. Thank you so much. You're awesome as well. And thank you for joining this live. I'm very happy, guys, that you are all here. Just gonna make sure to blend this out. And for this line, it doesn't have to be as you can see on the reference photo, it doesn't have to be greetings from Ostrava, greetings from Serbia. This is very nice. Oh my god, there's people all over the world. For this line, it doesn't have to be 100% correct and straight and everything. You can see on the reference photo that it's not as well. This is just a makeup, so we don't have to make it 100% right and correct. So it's completely fine if it's not. Just gonna make sure that this is a bit darker. I mean, we're gonna go back and forth. If you manage to get some parts, we're gonna go back to certain parts from time to time. It depends on how all of the drawing and everything is working out, and then if I'm not happy with some part, I would just go back and fix it. I'm just trying to kind of blend in between these, so I can use the nectar, for example, for this part. Just trying to blend that black part in between to kind of blend in. And also the upper part as well. Okay. And now we can work on this part of the nose. Like I'm very excited to start with the makeup and all. So we're gonna use our black, and this is like one part, as you can see, like one part is very dark, so this is the right part, and the left part is very it's very light, the left part, so the right up until, for example, this part is gonna be like very dark. So feel free to just press your pencil hard and it will do the job. And then limit this part because this part is black as well, but a bit lighter, which we're gonna work with our grays. And then we can work with our grays. So I'm gonna use the 50% of warm gray and 20% of warm gray for this one. So now I'm using the 50%. Trying to connect a bit, and I'm using the 20%. I'm just trying to connect like these two parts. And to blend these parts a bit. And we're gonna use our white, and we're gonna use it in this part here. And we'll just press it a bit harder. Like that. Since this is a reflection, I'm gonna try and imitate that. And just make a couple of like very small dots. I'm gonna work with the black here, and then with the 50%, no, just black a bit here. We need to lift that up a bit because we also need to follow the form of the nose, which is like the top is somewhere here, like where the darker parts and the lighter are, so we need to follow that as well. And now we're using the 50% of warm gray. And then the 20% of warm gray. gonna work a bit more with our black. And mostly we're gonna be working with these 3-4 colors, like the white, black, the 20%, the 50, and 70% of warm gray for the rest of the makeup here. So make sure if you're drawing this along with me, make sure to prepare these darker pencils. I'm gonna try and use the 70% of warm gray and to put the black a bit more. Basically this is just a reflection, so it's not that white, but still we're trying to leave some parts white. So go over with your 20% over those parts, and I will just limit a bit with this black. As well. Like that. And now we're gonna work on this upper part here, so make sure to have these grayish tones ready. So I'm using the 50% of warm gray here. I'm gonna use it all the way here. I'm gonna use the 20% on the other side. I need to remind myself to keep my back up. Now we need black to kind of work over that part, and then I'm gonna use the 70%. Blend those parts in between. Hello to Branislav. Hello guys. I'm very happy that you're here. Haven't heard from you in a while, so I'm very happy that you're here. I'm just blending this with 20% of warm gray. Just blending that out. Like that. And since that is a bit darker, we're gonna work on this part as well, which would be like, I'm using the chestnut, so I can just have that darker part a bit here. So you can use like for a bit. I'm gonna use the dark umber a bit as well. And I'm gonna use the burnt ochre, the other other one. This is sienna brown. Maybe sienna brown. Why not? Just gonna blend these parts out. To also connect those small parts. I'm gonna use nectar to kind of blend this. And the pumpkin orange to kind of have the nicer effect. And we'll pull it a bit up. So kind of we can connect with the rest of the face, the rest of the composition. I'm using the nectar again so I can blend this out a bit. And then a bit of sienna brown just to connect these two parts again. Just removed a part. That can also happen if you're using like the lighter colors on top of the darker one. Like you can remove because these are wax based, so basically they're waxy, so you can basically remove those parts like very easily. So let me see what else. We can work on this nose part now. So I need to sharpen the dark umber. We're just gonna limit with the dark umber. We're gonna limit the nostrils. It would be so much easier if I could just like turn around the paper, but I cannot because I would like you would guys lose the image. And like, but if it's easier for you, like I'm always just turning around the papers and like seeing from like it's easier. You can do that. Lucky you. We'll just limit these parts of the nostril like that, and we'll use the white for the ending parts of the nose. And also here we need to connect the makeup with the rest of the face, and here is pretty light, so we can use the white. We're going to combine it after with like different forms of gray, but for now we can leave that. And I think I even moved a lot this green, like the green's supposed to go a bit here. It should be a bit it should be a bit less, I think. So I'm just gonna make it a bit less visible, just a bit. just to shrink it down a bit, but still it's fine. It doesn't have to be the same. So as you can see, like, you can change things in the process, like it doesn't have to turn out. I'm gonna move it a bit here. So you don't have to rely on what you do and think that you cannot change it. I will use the 50% of warm gray for this nose part, like for this down part of the nose. Here, and this part is pretty dark. So we will put a bit of darker shade. Feel free to press it a bit harder since this part gets pretty dark. And then we can work on our, what I want to know is, where is the warm gray 10%? Cool gray. I am really interested to know where that color is. This French gray. I think I lost it. How fun. And my phone just fell. I'm using my phone as the way of seeing the reference. I have no idea where this 10% of warm gray is. Maybe here. I think this is this one. Yeah, exactly. This is warm gray. I found it. So we can use the 10% of warm gray as well. We're already live for an hour. Like, the time really flies, and like it's a bit annoying. The like time flies that fast, like when I'm live, and I really believe that I will finish like this part, but it seems like now that I will have to finish it like in another one. Like on the third live, but we'll see. Maybe I'm gonna mix the white and the 10% of warm gray, because there are still like some very light parts and there are some a bit darker parts. So I'm gonna combine all the grays in the world so we can get the nice looking nose. I'm gonna use the 10% for the down part. Hi, do you remember me? I was first watching. Yes, of course, Chaos Plays. Hi. Of course I remember you. You left for a bit and then you came back. And welcome back. I'm gonna work like the down part of the nose. We're gonna leave it like very light. Just gonna get something like this, and then we're gonna combine it. I'm gonna work. Hello to my mother. She says, like, perfect as always. My mother joined my live. I'm very happy. Hi, Mom. Thank you for joining. Thank you for being here. She is one of my biggest supporters, my mother. She was always one of my biggest supporters, and she always believed that I can do it, and I have the best mom in the world. So thank you, Mom. I'm saying that even publicly. Um, Sorry, I had to eat. You did so good so far. I always wanted to draw like you, but I can't afford art supplies. All right, Doug's guitar works. Doug's guitar works. Sorry, nice. Thank you so much, Doug. I'm very happy that you're here, and welcome to this live. And as for cast plays, I honestly believe that if you really want to start drawing and everything, just start like I started like collecting my money for my art supplies and everything. Like I just started saving some money. Like I was small, but I started like saving up, and I really wanted to do this. So eventually, like I bought the pencils and I bought like everything that I needed. Like, but for like up until that point, like I was just saving a lot, like crazy. I wasn't buying anything. Like the 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 clothes or something like that. Like I was never a clothes person. I was never a fashion person. That's so interested. Like I finished the fashion design and I was never a person who just like I was always saving for things because I knew that I want to do this. So if you really want to do this, just like start saving things, like saving some money, and I'm sure that like eventually you will be able to got my first set of colored pencils, and that was like very nice. I was very excited. And I remember like